appreciate you. And of course, it is a privilege and an honor to be finding out a little bit more about the winning attitude. So, of course, Nicke, I am going to start by the name, right? Before you can, just take us through how you got the name, the winning attitude, and of course, just your work. I mean, you are a woman that is highly experienced. You've got international as well as national experience of 29 years, followed by of hospitality, and then 3 years experience of real estate. So really, you're not a fly by night. You're a solid woman that knows her thing. So I am so excited to be inspired by your journey. So yeah, if you could just take us through the name and what led you to establish the winning attitude, skills, and training.
Oh, thank you, TC. For me, it's always about having a positive attitude and having a positive outlook on life. And something that happened when I was 18 years old, I still don't know why, but I had a premonition I wasn't going to live very long. And luckily, I'm still here.
Yay.
But I started then saying yes to life and then learning how. And often Richard Branson says that, say yes and then learn how. And I joke and I said, he got that from me, because when I was 18 years old, that was a long time ago. So that was my decision right there, to start living my life as if every day was going to be the last. And what was incredible about that, and it's so interesting, I turned 50 last year, but what's so incredible is that I still feel that way. So I still say yes. I still choose to live each day 100%. I still make, go for things and trial things, because I always ask myself, what's the worst thing that could happen? And ideally, it's about choosing your life, making your choice, and standing in that choice. And if you start thinking about, what is the worst thing that could happen? The truth is, the worst thing is we can die.
Sure.
And we only get one chance at that. And why not just live? While you're alive, just live. It's all about your choice. It's all about just saying yes. And just enjoying taking and going for it.
You said last year you turned 50, and I mean, my facial experience was like, what? I mean, did you mean 15 or 50? I mean, sure, you definitely don't look it. And I think that has to do with that positive attitude that you're speaking about as well. I must say, you look absolutely incredible. You do not look, I don't know, you don't look more than 20.
Oh, I love you. It's this great camera that I have.
But yeah, so I think, Nicke, now take us through the training side of things. What made you shift and decide to, instead of going on and working, as you say, you've got experience in hospitality as well as real estate, and you're combining those two now with the training and skills, the winning attitude skills and training that you have going. So I'd love to just hear about that and the transitioning from working to now applying what you've learned and giving it back.
Fantastic. Thank you. So I started in the hospitality industry at a young age of 15. It led me to work nationally and internationally, which was exciting. But I spent 29 years in total in hospitality. But I returned back to South Africa in 2004. I then started working with the Woolworths coffee shops, and I spent 14 years working with the Woolworths coffee shops, starting with the company that ran the stores that were, we were quite a small company when I started, but within the 14 years, we grew from 32 restaurants to 150 restaurants. We grew from 452 staff to 2,500 staff. And building the business with the owners was amazing. It gave me the expertise and experience that I actually started writing out training manuals. And that's when I developed the passion for training. I, during that time, wrote the customer service manual, the leadership manual, how to recruit, financial management. But I just loved having the opportunity to work with people and seeing them gain the confidence as they started gaining the knowledge about their roles. And team development was very important for me. It's very important to help people see their potential. And I really just loved that side of the business so much. But I realized and recognized I couldn't spend another 29 years in the hospitality sector. That's when I was blessed to be offered a role in the real estate sector as a team leader, which also involved training and recruitment. And again, having that passion. So it was an easy yes, even though, at the age of 45, starting something completely new. But 16 months into that role, 2 days before the president put the country in lockdown, our entire leadership team got retrenched. And instead of collapsing into the drama of what does this mean, it was just more of a exciting, yes, let me start my own training company, something I've always wanted to do, and take my knowledge from hospitality and real estate and combine it. Because when you're working with people, the language within training and leadership and customer service is universal. And that's what led me to launch my company. It's 5 years old on the 1st of May. It just turned 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, thank you. And it's been such an incredible journey, but still my biggest, I always say I'm living my passion. By doing what I love to do and serving my purpose by helping others, sharing what I've learned. And I'm still continuously on this journey to keep learning and keep growing. I'm still studying. There's just always so much to learn, which is very exciting.
I love that a lot, that you keep your mind open, that this is not it. And so often I love the fact that you started at 45. So often as you age, people feel that you cannot dream anymore and that's it. But here you are, going into a totally different career, then launching a new business. I mean, that in itself just shows you that there's so much more that we could do if we had the winning attitude.
There we go. But I have a lot of winning attitude to share with everyone out there. So definitely something to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, in terms of the courses and the packages that you have to offer us, can you take us through those?
Fantastic. Yes. So one of the biggest ones that I've been focusing on is powerful leadership transformation. And that's working with the younger version of myself. So I like to look at, I was internally grown into a leadership role, and I started at the age of 22. So I was offered my first management role and really didn't know much about management. So that particular course helps me transform managers into leaders, and that will give them their tools. I like to work with simplified tools so that they can get their team to increase productivity, which automatically increases profitability without working harder, only smarter. So that is specifically my powerful leadership transformation. And I've had phenomenal results, training this now for the last 20 years. Another one of my courses that I've only launched recently was when I started my own company. I realized I needed to learn how to speak better and with more confidence. So quite confident standing in front of a group of people training, but I wanted to embark on the keynote presentation style where you don't have notes and you stand up on stage and speak, from your heart, but there's still, tools and structures that you need to follow. And in 2021, I signed up for 2 courses, one locally, one internationally. I was then very co-coach for 2 years in the local course. I also then became a TEDx Cape Town speaker coach. I started studying a lot about public speaking. And last year, I launched my own Speak with Impact for public speaking course. And on Thursday night, I have another graduation. So I'll have close to 40 speakers that have graduated solely under the winning attitude. And that helps them structure a 7-minute talk without notes. And they can use the same talk 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. But it's not just about that. Watching the people I work with confidence grow is just such a privilege. And it's finding people's confidence in finding their voice, but also falling in love with their voice, which has been incredible. I last year then also realized that not everybody wants to learn how to do a keynote presentation. So I've then launched a new course called Speak with Impact for Sales. And that's just helping entrepreneurs, how to stand in front of someone and do a 60-second pitch, or is it a cold call or at a networking event, or just going to a local braai. How many of us sometimes feel like we've got plums in our mouth? We get so nervous when we need to talk in front of a group of people. And again, it's just been profound watching people fall in love with their voice and gain their confidence, which is amazing. So those are just like some of 3 of my courses I offer out of quite a, large, I want to say, offering. But one of the most important things that I'm focusing at the moment is helping people fall in love with their voice.
I love that a lot. I think, learning to speak well and to be able to articulate your ideas takes you a long way, because you're able to amplify your voice. You're able to be confident. You're able to speak with clarity and people can then hear you. So that's powerful. So if anyone is interested, please sign up to the Winning Attitude. Did you see what I just did there, Nicke?
I love that. Love.
So what have been the challenging times and how have you overcome those challenges, because yes, you've got the experience, but it's starting something new, it's launching. So how have you handled the launching period? And of course, with a winning attitude, but there are those sort of growing pains that one goes through with anything that you start. So what have you done to ensure that you're able to overcome those and rise above them?
TC, that's such a great question because, let me just be 100% honest. I am not always happy, bubbly, and full of smiles. I mean, ask my family, they will tell you. So I think any time that you're starting a new business, and even now that I'm 5 years into my business, I'm consistently looking for how can I do things differently and better. And what the biggest thing is your self-motivation. And what can you do every single day to help you stay motivated? So it's from, doing daily affirmations. I note such a big difference in my mindset when I do affirmations versus when I don't.
Sure.
I also love listening to motivational books. So, if I'm cooking, I'll pop in my earpods and I'll be listening to a book. Or if I'm just brushing my teeth in the morning, I'll play some of my books. So it's constantly focusing on that positive mindset of what needs doing. But it's also acknowledging that sometimes you are going to have bad days and you are going to have challenging days. And I think the important part there is it's not all, bright eye and not always just fabulous. Sometimes you just also have to ride the roller coaster of emotion.
Yeah.
And I say to people, when you choose your attitude, if you're in a bad space, just be kind to yourself. And sometimes it is about taking some time out for yourself and just giving yourself a rest, to giving yourself opportunity to do nothing, but celebrating how far you've come.
Yeah.
We often so focused on what needs doing that we're not always focused on what we've achieved. And some days when you wake up, just look at your small wins, look at the things that you have achieved and take notes on those, because it's so important to recognize that and celebrate those as opposed to what we have not yet achieved, because the exciting part about that is you still got time to do that.
Yeah.
And then just identify one thing, like what is that one thing right now that you need to do? And then just focus on that. But important is be kind to yourself, celebrate your success, celebrate how far you've come, and just be grateful for where you're at is very important.
I love that a lot. And so often, I think more especially as women, we don't celebrate, it's one thing after the other, after the other, after the other, until we get to a point where, we break down and our bodies break down and so on and so forth. And they communicate to us that, hey, we need you to rest. We need you to rest. So also prioritize rest in the midst of everything that must be done. So Nicke, just your greatest lesson through it all, something that you would be able to tell someone else or advise someone else, or, words of wisdom, of advice that you would give someone that, is starting something new from the things that you've learned.
Oh, I love that. I think if I can share two, one of them that comes up for me is that there's enough business out there for everyone.
Yeah.
And sometimes what happens is we launch our new business and we immediately start comparing ourselves to people out there that have been doing what we've been doing for longer than what we have, and immediately we'll want the results they have.
Sure.
What about reaching out to those people and asking them to help you, guide you, or mentor you? And one of my greatest gifts when I started my company is that's what I did. And there's a few people that actually took me under their wing, but they were always there to help me with any challenge that I had, any question I had, any support they could give me. And one of the ladies, Colette Merritt, was fantastic, and another one, Michelle Taylor Rebel.
Wow.
And when I met them, they both, realizing what I was going to be doing was like, oh, I could be immediate competition.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They immediately went, you are doing exactly what we do. So I'm going to put out my hand and I'm going to help you with anything you need. And that just gave me such a beautiful life lesson of, I want to do the same for others.
Ooh.
So one of the things is, how can we help others?
Yes.
Secondly, we don't have to do this alone.
Yeah.
There are so many incredible networking groups, women in entrepreneurship, men in entrepreneurship. Reach out to people that have gone through what you've gone through, because you're not alone.
Yeah.
And I know the days that I'm having a really crappy day, sorry if I said that, I can phone someone and ask them for support or for guidance or for help, and just realize that you're not alone. So know that there's enough business out for everyone. Know that it doesn't need to be a competition.
Yeah.
And as much as you can, put your hand up asking for support and help. Put your hand down and help others along their journey as well, because it's just such an incredible gift you can give to people. And those two ladies were so profound when I started my business, of giving me that gift of fresh eyes to say, there's enough business for all, and how can we help each other? I think that's so important.
I love it so much, and I love the idea of paying it forward, of the fact that you'll do the same for someone else, and that we're not in competition with one another, and there's room enough for everyone to you can be in the exact same business, but you still have a different, audience and a different market. There's enough room, everyone can get a piece of the cake. Nicke, how can people get through to you on social media? Please share your handles.
Oh, thank you so much. So thewinningattitude.co.za, highly encourage you right now, just go and click straight on that link. Even if you drop for a consultation meeting, I can give you a call. But saying that, the least then you'll be added onto my newsletters. I've actually launched all my May Madness specials for my 5-year anniversary, which is all going out in the next few days as well. So please feel free to reach out on thewinningattitude.co.za. Alternatively, on Facebook, where it will, Facebook.com/thewinningattitude.st. But the easiest would be just to go ahead, fill in your details on my website, and let's stay in contact. Let's see how I can help you. Let's have a cup of coffee. Let's have a chat via the Zoom or face-to-face, and see where you are at in your business.
Excellent.
But that way, you can stay up to date with everything that I'm offering as well.
This is so profound. Thank you so much, Nicke. I think that you're going to help many people that are listening right now. And of course, if you haven't been listening or you just started to listen, you can catch this very conversation again on our Facebook page. It will be live right there, and you'll be able to listen today, tomorrow, a little bit later on in the afternoon. So Nicke, thank you so much for availing yourself, your time, your knowledge, and for sharing your story with us. We really appreciate you, and we will definitely be following you and your story and seeing you thrive in every step that you take. So thank you so much, and blessings.
Thank you, TC, and thank you for the privilege of being able to chat to you and the listeners out there as well. Thank you again for listening.
Thank you. Blessings to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.